It's Friday, February 2nd, 2018, and welcome to Vanran10 on Sports. So, as you're going to see in the title, we're going to talk about the Super Bowl. So, my prediction, it's not going to be that difficult to see. I am going Eagles over the Patriots. Now, let me explain. I know that the New England Patriots have Tom Brady. They have Bill Belichick. They have Gronkowski. The Philadelphia Eagles have a backup quarterback. A pretty good defense. The New England Patriots have the heritage. They have the legacy. They are in the middle of a dynasty. Not the middle, but they're probably towards the end. Tom Brady can't play for another 15 years, so this is not the middle of the dynasty. They're probably towards the end of the dynasty. But, and I know that the odds makers say Patriots. I know that the world pretty much says Patriots. People that are picking the Eagles are usually just picking the Eagles because everybody else is picking the Patriots. Or people that are picking the Eagles, it's just because they hate the Patriots. I don't hate the Patriots. Not anymore. I used to. I'm still not a huge fan of Bill Belichick. I think he's overrated. But I still think he's a good coach. I just don't think he's the best ever. Tom Brady, I do believe, is the GOAT. Greatest of all time. I do believe that. So, I can even say that it's like if the Patriots win the Super Bowl, it won't bother me. In the past, it would have. But there's this weird part of me that just wants for Tom Brady to kind of put that record out of reach. If he gets 6 Super Bowl rings, who's gonna do that? Whoever is gonna do that. 6 Super Bowl rings for a starting quarterback is pretty monstrous. So if he gets that, I'm good. I mean, you got to figure this is this guy's 8th Super Bowl as a starting quarterback. 8. That's insane. I mean, no other quarterback can say they've started 8 Super Bowls. He's won 5. He's lost 2, and we'll see what happens in this one. Now, the reason I'm saying the Philadelphia Eagles, they're going to be playing with a little bit of a chip on their shoulder, and really, it's just a gut feeling. 2 weeks ago, after the Eagles won the Super Bowl, or after the Eagles won their game and the Patriots won their game, I started thinking, well, who's going to win this thing? In my head, I know that the Patriots are the better team. I know that they're better prepared. I know that they have the better quarterback. I know this. Philadelphia's got the better defense. I think Philadelphia's probably got the better wide receivers. Zach Ertz is actually a really good tight end. He's not as good as Gronk, but I think if Gronk takes one hit to the head, he'll be out again. I mean, he's had his bell rung way too many times. I mean, he might need to look to retire so that this poor guy doesn't end up, damaged goods. He has way too many. He's getting too many concussions in his career. Frankly, at this point, if you get more than 2, I think you've probably had, 1 too many concussions. 1, you can probably get away with it. That's all you ever have in your life. But when you have more than 1, the more head trauma your brain goes through, I think it might have more of a long-term effect than we think. It's almost one of those things where it's just too bad we don't have any real way of discovering what kind of damage is being done up there due to concussions and what kind of long-term. I think they know maybe the damage, but what are the long-term effects? Every part, but getting back to it, every part of me knows that the Patriots should win this thing. And I'm not against the Patriots winning it. I'm really not. I used to have a lot of anger, and I got sick of hearing about them. And it's kind of like, back in the day when the San Francisco 49ers were really good. I hated the San Francisco 49ers. I did not like Joe Montana. I got sick of hearing about Montana. Got sick of hearing about Roger Craig, Tom Rathman, Ronnie Lott. I got tired of hearing about these guys. Not so much Jerry Rice. I like Jerry Rice. He was always just a class act. I mean, none of those guys were bad guys. They were all pretty much good, solid citizens and human beings. But I got tired of hearing of them. So I hated the San Francisco 49ers. I still call Joe Montana the best mediocre quarterback of all time. But then after the San Francisco 49ers, you didn't really have a great dynasty. You had a little bit with the Dallas Cowboys. I think they were a pretty good dynasty when they had the triplets with Michael Irvin, Emmitt Smith, and Troy Aikman. But for some reason, I didn't get tired of hearing about those guys. Maybe a little bit Emmitt Smith, because I think he's kind of an overrated running back. But I think Michael Irvin is a great, great wide receiver, and Troy Aikman's an underrated quarterback. I don't think he kind of got the credit he deserved because, Michael Irvin and Emmitt Smith, I think, got a few more of the headlines. And even when Deion Sanders was there, I think Deion Sanders stole a little bit of the spotlight. Troy Aikman just seemed to do his job, do it quietly, and do it really well. After that, the Broncos won a couple in a row, and then you didn't get a dynasty until the Patriots started doing this. And then, of course, got sick of hearing about the Patriots, and I just said, I'm done with you guys, and I'm sick of it. Now I kind of have a lot of respect for what they've done over the length of time that they've done it. And I believe very much it's because of Tom Brady. Go back, look at the cast of characters. They are always different. They change so much. When Montana won his Super Bowls, his cast of characters was basically the same. Other than Dwight Clark, it went to Brent Jones. He had Taylor, he had Rice. Maybe it's not Taylor, maybe I'm thinking of somebody else. But he had two good wide receivers, and he had them for a long time. He had Roger Craig and Tom Rathman. The offensive line was pretty steady. The defense was pretty steady. He had a good, steady cast of characters while he was winning his Super Bowls. Tom Brady, his starting wide receiver with his first Super Bowl was Troy Brown. Troy Brown's not going in the Hall of Fame. I don't even know if Troy Brown would make the Ring of Fame in New England or whatever their stadium fame would be. I don't even think he could make that. He's just not that good. But Tom Brady made him look like a rock star. He did play a little bit of defensive back, but I still think he was covering. Troy Brown would have been he was probably the best receiver. He was the best receiver the Patriots had, and he was covering probably the fourth best wide receiver that the other team had when they would bring in Troy Brown. The defenses were solid for those early teams, but after they won those first, I think, couple of Super Bowls, then they started losing players and replacing them, and you end up with Gronkowski as your tight end and Hernandez when they didn't have any wide receivers. They really didn't have anybody to throw the ball to on the outside. They went with Gronk and Hernandez. I don't know if Hernandez ever got a Super Bowl, but they made use of the players that they had. For a while, his best setup was when he had Moss and Welker. Very good wide receiver tandem. Unfortunately, they ran into the New York Giants, who just seemed to have their number. And he's had running backs like Corey Dillon, Kevin Falk. You look at all the different pieces that he's always had to contend with Tom Brady. There is not a consistent lineup there. The main consistency is that Tom Brady puts the ball right where it has to be for his receivers to catch it. So your receivers look a lot better when the ball is thrown right basically into their hands. So I've kind of softened on that. I have a lot of respect for what Brady has accomplished. Now the Philadelphia Eagles, my gut is telling me that they're going to win this game. It's just a gut feeling. I kind of had a gut feeling that Nick Foles was going to throw for 3 touchdowns in that game against Minnesota. Nobody else thought that. I didn't really think it. Just my gut told me he's going to throw for 3 touchdowns. Even thinking about it a little bit later, it's like, man, why am I saying he's going to throw 3 touchdowns? But my gut told me to say it, so I said it in another video. This game, I don't see Nick Foles being the way they win, but I think Nick Foles will surprise you with how efficient he is. It's going to be a close game. There's not going to be a blowout on either side of this. Even the Patriots won't blow out the Eagles. This will be a close game. If the Eagles blow them out, it's because something has went horribly wrong for the New England Patriots. But I still think my gut is going to say the Eagles, playing with a chip on their shoulder. Everybody is basically already handing the Super Bowl trophy to the New England Patriots. the Eagles are going to be fired up. They really are. And that's the kind of a team you don't want them fired up. They seem to play really, really well when they are when they've got something to play against. You know, when somebody is basically saying you can't do it, and they just go, oh yeah, you know, because they want everybody to see it's like they weren't just Carson Wentz and the Eagles. If they win this Super Bowl without Carson Wentz, I mean, it's a little sad because Carson Wentz was having such a great season. But remember, Jeff Hostetler took over for Phil Simms and won a Super Bowl. This is kind of in that line a little bit where now Nick Foles is taking over for Carson Wentz. And Nick Foles is doing what he's supposed to be doing. I don't think his coach is Doug Peterson, who is a former backup quarterback in the NFL. So he held a clipboard a lot, and he got to watch Brett Favre. So he got to watch how not to do it sometimes at the end of the game. And then he got to watch how to do it at the end of the game, because sometimes Brett Favre had some amazing plays. So, Eagles over to Patriots. I don't know if I should even put up a score on this because I just really think it's Eagles over Patriots. Gut saying 24-21. It's going to be a good game, I think. But I think the Eagles are going to pull this off. Eagles over to Patriots in Super Bowl 52. If it happens, it'll be awesome because the Eagles have never won a Super Bowl. If Tom Brady wins another Super Bowl, awesome for him. He gets 6 of these things, and who's going to catch that? It's going to take a long time for somebody to be that dang good. So, with all that being said, to the troops, past, present, and future, thanks for the freedom.